Hi, I'm Kat.
And I'm Gabe.
And we're... I'm sorry.
Not that
What's
at all.
wrong with me?
Well, how long do you have? Why do you always screech? Oh my god.
It's because I can't look at you. I think that's the problem. Alright, ready?
Okay.
Hi, I'm Kat.
And I'm Gabe.
And we're
The Ghouls Next Door.
Yeah.
That's us.
Singing songs about it.
Ow.
Gabe's hurt because she has fallen deep, deep down into the caves. She is trapped forever.
I got out.
In isolation.
I'm fine.
What happened to Gabe? I love her so much.
I made it out. Okay.
Oh, okay. Cool, we move on.
Yeah, so, hi, welcome to our episode. This is our 52nd episode, and it is about isolation.
Yeah, so my dreams. Let's go there. It sounds great. There's no people. Let's go. For it.
Yeah.
It's not even my birthday month. We're so hyped. Look at go.
All month long, we're going to be talking about isolation in locations. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're going to explore all the ways it kills to be alone. Yeah. We're going to dive in, sink in, close doors, blast off away from people.
Yeah. And we're going to pretend it's a bad thing to do.
No, it is. To some degree, there are some
if you
bad
overdo
things.
it. Like if you overdo anything.
Yeah, if you're anywhere you shouldn't be. Bad things happen to you.
Yeah, so if you're in Colombia.
No.
And you're just like, oh my god, there's a cave here. That's the cave.
Place.
That's the cave that it is.
Yeah, so this week we're talking about what happens when you're isolated or trapped underground the good green earth.
Yep. Yeah. You don't want to be there. You want to be on top. You want to be like, hey, what's up? Unless robots have taken over. Or it's like that City of Ember movie where the up space is bad because pollution or monsters or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And you had to go underwater to survive. Not underwater, underground to survive.
Or it was like Journey to Atlantis and you were in that cool underground world with magic.
Yeah. See, exactly.
So there's some good parts, but that's not what we're going to talk about because that doesn't seem like what is in vein with our podcast.
The better humans are there.
There aren't better humans we're talking about.
They're dark elves.
There's bad humans.
No, they're dark elves. It's like you're in that realm of Skyrim and you've gone one level too deep and you're like, oh my god, how did I get here? And then you don't know how to leave, but at the same time you're like, well, I got here somehow. I probably should keep going. And then it's terrifying because they can't see and they react based on sound and they attack you and it's scary.
I can't play Skyrim. It's scary.
It's basically The Descent is the dark elf section where you go underground into the deep, deep caves.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally I've only been in like 2 caves. And it was like in the very touristy section of it where it was just like, ooh, look, stalagmites or whatever. And I was like, pretty, okay, bye. And then I left because it was boring. I think spelunking is fun, but only if it's like a place that's already been explored.
Yeah. I mean, I went once into a cave. This is the one time. And this is the cave that I've decided is in all the movies.
Yeah.
Because I went to Colombia and my friend's boyfriend like ran cave diving expeditions or like adventure expeditions. So you would go do wilderness things.
Yeah.
And one of the things we did is we climbed inside of this cave that was like just a giant hole in the ground. No. And you had to like rappel down like on rocks, like rock climbing. Mm-mm. And then you got to the bottom and it was slippery and dark. And we did not go very far into it because it looked like if you kept going, you would be in the movie. So you stopped and you went back up. And if you were me, you needed your inhaler like twice.
Yeah.
In the ups and downs of the times.
Yeah. I definitely would rather be in a place that's already been explored. Like, I don't need to be Lewis or Clark. Like, we already know what happens when you go off the trail. We read about Donner Party. We told you about it. So, we know what happens when you stray from the path. So I don't think so.
Yeah, I just feel like you don't know where you're going or what you're doing. There are things down there, maybe. Maybe there's dark elves. Maybe there's those weird creatures that definitely are dark elves that are in the descent and they're just down there and they're hanging out and they're going to eat all your friends. Or
it's not even that, but you're just trapped underground and you run out of oxygen or food or just like you get stuck.
Yeah.
It's so many things that could go wrong.
There's so many,
Dum-dum.
like literally I was reading it and I was like, why does what? There's
why
just
does anyone do
pockets of
this?
toxic gas?
Yeah. And
What if you hit one of those?
Stick your head in there.
Gases fill the container which one they are in. So if you open the gas space, you're just dead now. It fills the container it's in. So you've opened the gas space. It is now filling the container that you're in. You don't have air, you're dead.
Yeah. We're going to talk about all the things that go wrong when you're spelunking where you shouldn't be.
We're going to try to do it like smarts instead of how I do it, which is saying random nonsenses in rant form. And then Gabe says them smartly.
We're going to do what we do every time. We're going to take over the world. I think it would be really cool to like rock climb or like get buff enough that spelunking would be an adventure, right? Like to be able to hold my own body weight.
Yeah, I feel like that would be cool. But at the same time,
I mean, like, my arms would be like so cool. But like, I don't know if I'd actually use it. It'd be kind of like a waste.
I feel like we should just get buff for the sake of getting buff so that we can be like Sarah Connor level fit.
I don't want to be Sarah Connor.
You don't want to be her, but you can be her level of fitness.
Okay.
She was fitness goals.
Her arms could
She could do
spelunk.
pull-ups.
She can spelunk. She can climb in a cave.
Yeah.
And
but
that's
we're
what
not going to
she
go in
should
any
have done.
caves.
She should have went and got lost in a cave.
She didn't know. She was trying to help the future.
I know.
But yeah, you just like, I feel like we should get that strong, but then not use it.
Unless we have to.
Why would we ever have to go down into a cave?
Because the world ended. Okay, bye.
We tell you facts. All the facts. Here facts. Still facts. About that spooky stuff. Yeah, spooky stuff.
Let's talk about caves.
Okay.
All right, yeah.
Cool.
Getting some facts.
So, Gabe, question for you though, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do if we both got trapped in a cave
Oh,
together?
God, it'd be like the worst thing ever.
You're welcome.
If we were trapped in a space, like we couldn't leave at any point, and like one of us just went mad with like just being trapped,
Yeah.
it would be a whole time.
Well, I feel like we would
It'd
probably.
be great if we were both mad.
Yeah, it's totally fine. These are my children, these rocks.
We have a whole family now.
We love, oh my God. Yeah, so it'd be like that. But, yeah.
Feed the rock children first.
I feel like we would I would start it as a funny, like, humor, like, to lighten the mood. I'd probably make a lot of uncomfortable jokes just because I was, like, terrified we were going to die. But it'd probably mimic, like, what it would probably be like to be going in the insane, I would say insane stuff, probably.
Yeah.
And, like, act weird to, like, be weird.
Yeah.
But then you would probably be like, is she turning into one of the descent monsters?
happening?
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. I
And then you'd
definitely
kill
would be trying to, like, get us out of there. And then if I was just convinced that you were lost forever, I'd be like, okay, well,
All right, rude.
miss you. No. I don't want to be like that.
We operate like the Marines. No one gets left behind.
What is this, Stitch?
Yeah.
Ohana means family.
Yeah, we don't get left behind.
Yeah, I would
also,
take
the
you.
Marines do that.
Yeah.
They go
We'll
back.
take you. Yeah, okay. Saving Private Cat. Got it. Yeah, so we're going to talk about spelunking gone wrong, or just like what happens to you when you're in there. But I wanted to start off with like, why don't I just tell you where you shouldn't go? You could go there, but
It says you shouldn't.
you probably shouldn't. So
According to the internet.
yeah, so we watched
I
some
don't know your
videos.
life. You can go ahead.
Yeah, you know, if you got cool toned arms and you can handle it. But Kat found a video, and then one of those fun Ranker articles where you have to like scroll forever and there's like a million ads on it. But it has the 9 haunted caves you can explore, but you shouldn't.
Cool.
So I'm just giving the credit where it's due.
Tell me
Because I
about
don't know
some
what
caves,
I don't
Gabe.
know what caves are. I've never caved.
Whisper me sweet nothings of caves.
The Cave Hotel at the Grand Canyon Caverns.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, it does sound nice.
Sounds spooky. Let's go.
For one, I mean, it says like you shouldn't go into these caves, but they like made this cave like a room. Like it's a place you can stay. It's got furniture in it.
So it's telling you to go.
Yeah, it just seems like...
Why would they make it a hotel if they didn't want you to stay there?
So it was originally discovered by Native American tribes.
Yeah.
But the way that America works, it wasn't discovered, quote unquote, until Walter Peck showed up in 1927. And he was like, these are my caves. Oh, look, there's evidence that other people were already here. Oh, well, I put my flag in here. It's mine now. Oh, my two friends died of the flu. It's cursed. Leave. Everybody leave this cave. It can't be because we don't have proper food or health. so we don't have vaccines.
Totally haunted.
Yeah, it's definitely haunted. So no one's allowed to go there. But if you want to go there, you can. And then the rumor is that if you're in there, you might hear like the tribes people drumming and chanting and summoning things. Some good vibes, I guess.
Summoning some good vibes.
Which
That's
honestly,
right. You should go.
doesn't seem like a
Sounds
bad
nice.
thing. The bad thing I would say is that it is $850 for 2 guests.
That's a lot.
So I'm gonna go with nah.
There's like
it's
not
okay.
even kind of a threat that I'll die. And yeah, no, it's not worth it.
Yeah. So that's our number 9, which is like, I give you permission to go there. If you got $850, just burn a hole in your pocket and you want to hear, like, you want to fall to
minute.
sleep.
You got $850. I have some other ideas for you. We have a lot of projects here at the Ghouls. Some of them are spooky like caves. If you wanted to send some $850 our way.
If you want to give us $850, we will spruce up one of our rooms to look like a cave, and you can sleep
be
in there
trapped
and
in
hang
our
out with
basement.
us. But I mean, if you're like the kind of person that's like, I can't sleep unless I hear the chanting of ancient tribes people communicating with the spirit world, then this is perfect for you.
Yeah, that kind of sound machine thing. Yep.
Very specific sound machine.
You got that, Gabe. You have one of those in your room, right? It's just like a little box, and it's like
just a little-
ancient tribes people summoning
You
good
click
vibes.
it. It's like a Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
Moving on to number 8 on our list is the Hellfire Caves. So right away, we're at this thing where there's a name here that's just seems kind of like it tells a story all on its own.
It's just like, hey, maybe hell's in there.
Maybe you don't want to go.
It's the underworld, maybe. There's lots of maybes involved.
Yeah.
But it is suggested that it's the doorway to the underworld, if I remember correctly.
I think that's a different one.
There's more than one. They're all doorways to the underworld. There's multiple ones.
This one
he
is...
likes to travel.
Yeah, he wants to get around. Essentially, what this was is that it's a cave system that were excavated by this guy, Francis Dashwood, in the mid-1700s. And he was also the co-founder of the Hellfire Club, which is like a secret society, aka cult.
This is that one.
So essentially it's like this cult that had their own special location to do their meetings, or they're like, Jonathan, have you been keeping the checkbook together? And he's like, yes. Have you summoned the gods? And he's like, not yet, because they're very finicky. It's like, how many children are we going to sacrifice? I don't know. It's all a secret. Somehow we're doing it, and no one knows.
I've also heard orgies happened.
All right, sign me up. No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go there. But apparently because of this group that had a reputation for having dark rituals, orgies, debauchery, and devil worship.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Sounds
because
like the Vivovich movie.
Exactly. But because of that, people think that it is haunted because they brought the evil in it. And even like Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters have gone in there to see. The next one on the list is the Moaning Cavern, which is what I like to call, you know, my place. My eyebrows are going up and down. Listener.
No one wants to know that game.
Time. Moaning Cavern. Wink. Wink.
Oh, dear God.
It's a sex innuendo. Well, apparently, the Moaning Cavern gets this name because you can hear like a creepy moaning sound.
It's a bunch of teenagers having sex just somewhere
all
in
the
there.
time?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is my Mythbusters debunk.
But apparently they also have heard like knocking as if someone's there with a hammer. So people are getting pounded and there's moaning in the moaning cavern. So again, this is another sex cult probably. What's happening in here? What are happening in these? That's why you shouldn't go underground, okay? Because then you're going to get sucked into a magic sex cult. They have something else where they think that there's a mythical leprechaun-like creature known as Tommyknocker.
Yo, nice.
So even weirder because what? But apparently, these
Is that what the
mischievous
evil leprechaun movies are based on?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But these mischievous cave dwellers are the spirits of those who died in cave-ins, and that their knocking warns of imminent collapses. So they're actually kind of nice.
That is nice.
Like a good one.
They're not gonna come eat you.
Yeah.
All
But
right, cool.
others say that they're malevolent spirits
that's
whose
the
knocking actually causes cave-ins.
Cool.
So there's good ones that are like there's a bad one that like knocks and then like there's a cave in and then the other one's like, hey, that guy just made a cave in, and you're like, either we missed it and the cave in's happening, or it has happened. But yeah, people say that they saw ghosts in there, and apparently a tiger named Chip.
A tiger?
Yeah, like a tiger died down there. But you can go there. You can do stuff. There's also the Bell Witch Cave, which, according to the legend of the Bell Witch, in 1804, a farmer named John Bell moved his wife and kids to farm along the Red River in northern Robertson County. The property also included a cave, which, known as the Bell Witch Cave, is believed to be haunted by a spirit of a witch.
What?
Named
Bell
Kate
Witch Cave.
Batts.
What?
Yeah. The guy who owned it, his last name was Bell. But the witch's name was Kate Batts.
Kate Batts.
Yeah. She apparently had felt wronged because the Bells bought the land and she thought it was hers. Or maybe it was hers. You know, there's a lot of strange things happening. But apparently there's like weird animal sightings and like weird noises that happen around it. Noises like gnawing, choking, and dragging sounds. And then they got like violently attacked by an unseen force. The next one is the Mammoth Cave is dubbed such because it's massive. It's huge. It's mammoth in size.
Excellent.
Yeah. But it apparently inspired one of our favorite horror writers.
Ooh.
H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, nice.
And his story, The Beast in the Cave. Which,
That's where
that
are.
seems about right. And if he's writing about it, then I probably wouldn't want to be in there.
Yeah.
But this is also one of those where it was used as a burial ground for Native Americans. So they would like bring their people there. So most people are like, it's haunted now because it was a burial ground.
Was that the one where when the guy was talking about it, he was like, they stayed there for like a really long time and then they suddenly decided to leave?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It went on for 2,000 years before they just abruptly left.
Yeah.
They just abandoned the cave. So whatever caused them to flee is unknown, but it might have something to do with the plethora of ghost sightings that have occurred over subsequent years. Ooh, ghost sightings. Apparently, though, the cave's air is pretty bad, so it gives you infections and makes you sick anyway.
Okay,
So
that
probably
makes sense,
don't
then.
go there.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, don't go there. There's the Chislehurst Caves in the UK, which are man-made mines that are home to many spirits. And that's kind of, it's just like...
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, no, it's just like, it's different kinds of spirits. Like, people go in there and they say that they hear, like, children laughing.
That's very creepy.
There's the Cave of Sybil. This is, like, this weird... natural formation that because of the way that it looks, people think that it is a gateway into the underworld. It is one of the oldest known entrances to hell. I like that it says that. It says it's one of the known oldest known entrances to hell. They went to the underworld and they were like, here it is. Apparently, it's so spooky that even birds won't fly over it.
Yeah, that is actually kind of creepy.
Yeah, because it's like, what do they know? It's named after what is believed to be a 700-year-old oracle of the dead priestess Sybil, who guards the gateway. We have the Wabasha Street Caves, which is essentially
Which
like...
doesn't sound scary in offset.
Yeah,
It
and
says
it's not
the word
really...
street in it.
Yeah, because it's like, it's man-made, and it was so that they can, like, mine in there. But then at some point, mobsters or gangsters got in there and were doing their work, and then they all kind of died, probably from gang violence. And now they haunt the place.
Cool.
So it's like a haunted speakeasy. Apparently, like, if you go to the, not a speakeasy, a bar next door, there's been known sightings that, like, there's dead ghost people.
Cool.
Hanging out. There's Robber's Cave in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Is this the one with all the dead people in it?
All of them are all the dead people. This is the one where they're, again, Native Americans were hanging out in here. But they did all kinds of their, like, traditional practices. So, like, healing. They would talk to animal, like, spirit guides. They use their medicinal and magical things in here. Right? So, like, they would just practice. But this is one where they say that they hear the chants still. And that, like... The idea is that they're, like, even dead are still continuing on their practices to keep, like, the good mojo going for what it is.
And I just feel like there's lots of things that can kill you down there that are, like, either things that are already down there or just your body.
Yeah.
Or your mind. Just being like, oh, we're done doing what we need to do.
Yeah, I don't want to be down here anymore.
We're insane now. Or... we're dehydrated and dying. Yeah. So, fun facts.
Fun.
Fun.
Exciting.
So, among the hazards of, going into caves, falling, pockets of toxic gas, getting lost, tumbling rocks, hypothermia, dehydration, or perhaps the most horrifying, getting stuck in the jaws of tight, sharp rocks, slowly succumbing to thirst and hunger in a pitch black grave.
Woo!
Sounds like the stuff that you just don't want to do.
That's what I love.
It sounds
Here for
so fun. There are real stories of people getting stuck in caves, which I think there's some like recent ones that are. There was the 12 young boys and the soccer coach who got trapped in the Tham Luang cave in Thailand.
There's the Chilean miners.
For our listeners, if you were ever trapped in a cave, spelunking or whatever have you, these are the things that you need to know. Really
beefed up arms.
And you're like monkey bar swinging through like rocks.
And you have nothing to lose.
Yeah. Just don't like accidentally kill your friends.
Or get stuck on like a rock and then you're there for 127 hours till you like saw off your own arm.
Yeah. So like one, don't go alone. And then also like extra tell people where you're going.
Yeah.
So for starters, in emergency situation, the first step is assessment. So if you get stuck down there, don't panic. Whatever you do, don't go running around being like, lights this way, and then you fall and trip and then like impale yourself or hit your head. Like stay calm and just like try honestly to not sweat, because sweat apparently could cause hypothermia if you get sweaty enough.
Yeah, because then if it's cold.
Yeah, because it gets all up in your clothes.
Yeah. Ugh.
You don't want
how
that.
are you not gonna sweat? You're exerting so much. You're like sweating.
Well, no, the whole thing is that like when you're trying to, if you get trapped, when you're trying to escape, you're supposed to like leisurely explore if you're gonna.
Yeah.
And just kind of like try to be cool. But if you're completely disoriented, lost, or feeling panicky, stay put. And rescuers are more likely than not, if you told them where you're going, instead of flying and saying you were going in a different cave because you want glory or to like do whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
They'll come look for you.
Yeah.
And there was actually, I read like a nice story about people who got stuck in a cave for 48 hours. Mm-hmm. And like they did get rescued because they did all the stuff that they should have done. They just stayed put and they didn't move around too much and shared water and whatever. And they smelled gross, but they were okay and were rescued and they went home. And if you're like trying to like attract rescuers instead of screaming until your voice is all sore and crappy, just take 2 rocks and smack them together. It's actually easier and clearer to hear.
Yeah, I'll probably go farther.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't have to scream a bunch.
Ding,
You don't want to let the dark elves know you're there. So use rocks.
Then they're gonna know you're there still because
No, they could just think rocks are falling. But
in a very
humans
staccato rhythm.
will know.
Okay.
Yeah, so they don't know what
I
music is.
think these are suggestions for when you're in caves that don't involve some kind of monster or creature that is like gonna kill you or a person.
What I'm saying is never rule that possibility out.
I'm just saying.
Always think with monsters in mind.
In the event that there are no monsters. First, step 1, check for monsters.
Well, no, they don't want you to overexert yourself.
You
And if you
just
find the
look,
monsters, then they're going to find you.
leisurely sneak about.
They're
And
going
if
to
you
find
see
you
it,
that
it's
way.
too late. Listen, if there's monsters in there, it's too late anyway. You're going to be exerting yourself
You
nonetheless.
don't know. They might not know you're there.
Well, when I start banging rocks together,
They won't recognize the
cough.
rock sounds, Gabe. That's why you're not yelling. You're using the rocks. I've tested and proven this method.
that's
except I
not
haven't.
true at
It's
all.
not.
You've never been underground with creatures around the corner while
You
you
don't know.
tapped
I went
rocks.
to the Columbia Cave.
You liar.
All I'm saying is,
Don't lie to our
to
listeners.
prevent monsters, tap rocks.
Yes.
If you have
Rock
extra
tapping.
clothes, like put those on because they're better. And you put a plastic bag over your head. Mm-hmm. Like
Wait.
with a hole in it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, you get like a trash bag, but you put a hole in it so you're not suffocating, and you wear it over your clothes that are nice and toasty and warm.
keep you warm.
And it keeps you warm and dry.
Nice.
It's
Like, why are we going straight to suicide? Oh, we didn't we're tapping rocks. I thought we were in a good place. We were so positive we were wearing extra clothes.
you put it in a bag over your head with a hole in it.
You die.
No, there's a hole in it.
Jump off any cliff you see.
No, stop
I'm
it,
sorry.
Gabe. The monsters have to kill you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Don't make it
When
easy
you're
for
bogged
them.
down because you're wearing 5 layers of clothing and you're just making
That's more layers to chew through.
As you run because of the
You're
trash.
not running, you're staying put.
But if the monster's coming after you, it's like because of my trash
They
bags.
can't see you. Just
Ripple,
be
ripple,
quiet,
ripple,
and then
ripple.
they
You
just.
can't. Any movement you make in a trash bag is noise.
Well, then
And they're gonna be
don't
like, "What is
move.
that? I've never heard
Then
a trash
don't
bag before."
Move, Gabe. Don't go in caves because clearly you will not survive.
Okay.
You think you might know the way out? You can use small bits of fabric or paper or even little rock piles to mark your current location, Blair Witch style. So, like in the movie, where they use the lighter to see where the air is blowing,
Yeah, 'cause it
you
blows
can
it.
do that. You get a little lighter guy, you open it on it, and you be like, oh, I see the wind is going. Or I think you could do where you lick your finger and you put your finger up and you can feel
Yeah,
which
but
way the
that's
wind's
going to be
going.
harder to locate because it could be anywhere.
Well, just in case you don't have a lighter. And what if it's one of the toxic gas caverns and you light everyone on fire? That's all I'm saying.
Well, you know what?
We gotta go.
Listen, yeah, things aren't looking good for us anyway at that point. What, you know what? I already put the bag on my head. I'm already on my
That's
way
not
out.
what happened.
Just going.
Okay, so you get a lighter and then you see which way the light goes and then you walk that way towards the breeze. Because the breeze means air and the air means escape.
I'm going to breathe it.
No, it means you can get
That's
out.
what it means.
When you're getting tired, try to avoid laying on a cold rock, because cold rock will make you cold more. Which can lead to hypothermia, let me tell you.
The more you know.
And you want to, like, stay slow so your heart rate doesn't get too much.
Too much about
Here,
rocks.
dripping?
Maybe.
You might be able to locate water.
Or someone's taking a piss. I don't know.
Not all cave water is entirely safe to drink.
No.
But
Probably full of bacteria.
in an extended emergency, say the fact that you're trapped under the ground space.
And there are creatures after you.
That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that you can go 30 to 40 days without food.
Yeah.
But you can only go 2 days without water. Or about
rough.
that.
Yeah.
So you definitely need water. If it's gonna give you dysentery, I mean, you might just gotta chalk it. But also, running water is cleaner than muddy or like still water.
Yeah.
So if you find running water, then it's probably not as bad.
Yeah.
And if you're going prepared, like sometimes you can bring those like capsule things that you can make boil water or like that make it not toxic-y.
Yeah. If you're prepared to get trapped in rocks.
But yeah, so essentially, don't lay on cold rocks. If you hear dripping, follow the...
Cold rock bad.
the water that's like flowing, because that's probably the less toxic version of the water.
Cold rock is my new favorite type of music.
This is my favorite part. It says avoid water with strong odor if you can.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, you know what makes water great? When it smells like other stuff
sulfur.
that's not water.
You're like, this, you know what,
You know how water's
Here I
tasteless
am.
generally? When it really just tastes not okay.
when it tastes like literally anything that's not nothing.
Yeah, it has a
then
real
yeah.
smell. It's probably not what you want. But if you are near a cave entrance, also there's like bugs and maybe bats.
Nom
and
nom nom.
fish, birds to eat, but they're probably very hard to catch and you kind of want to save your energy. So like food's good.
Yeah.
You can go 30, 40 days without that. You really
Yeah.
need water more than anything else.
You just need enough energy to tap some rocks and avoid cold ones.
Films. Yeah, films. Yeah, films. We watched some films. Now let's talk about those films. And all that spooky stuff. And all that spooky stuff.
Now let's talk about those films and game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Just diving on in. So if you're talking about underground horror films, of course we're going to talk about the cult classic, The Descent.
Yeah.
Because it's there. It's what people love. It's
The
good.
first time I saw it, it was good. I was like, whoa, this is stressful.
Yeah.
Also, look at all these women murder each other really brutally.
Yeah. It's like, I remember when the trailers came out for it, because it was like, claustrophobia, madness, blah, blah, blah. It was all that. Like, you didn't even know, like, they did not advertise that there's monsters underground at all. And so it was just like, oh, girls get lost under
you
here.
think the caves are the scary thing.
Yeah, like
It's
you're just
nah.
battling with your own senses, and then they're like, what?
So there are blind elf-like creatures who are eating
They're
you.
not elf-like, they're human. They evolved that way. Just telling you.
No, they're dark elves.
Oh my God,
They had
okay.
elf ears.
They did not.
They had pointed
Yeah,
ears.
because they're like bats.
Dark
You're a dark
elves.
elf. My God. Anyway,
No, I live above
let me
the
tell you.
ground.
Okay. For now,
Facts.
before I put you back in your hole, because it's where you belong.
Hey,
You belong in the
I don't
devil's
go
hole.
in there.
You belong in the
Gabe.
devil's hole. All right.
I live above ground.
All right.
Well, the people see me.
Anyway, let me tell you about The Descent. It is from 2005. A caving expedition goes horribly wrong as the explorers become trapped and ultimately pursued by a strange breed of predators. This is directed by Neil Marshall, who created another isolation-ish type film called Dog Soldiers, but that takes place in the woods and is primarily male characters. And this one is all ladies.
Yes. I also watched it, and I concur with that statement.
Yeah. So essentially it's these women who are adventure seekers. Like at the beginning we see them whitewater rafting because they're cool. They did it all by themselves. And the husband's like on the shore, like rooting for them,
Yeah.
taking care of the kid. It's like, whoa, gender swap.
Nice.
The roles are reversed, dude. Anyway, it's very clear that there's an affair happening, and then tragedy strikes, and he dies, and the child, which is sad.
It's very sad.
But they decide to do what happens in a lot of horror movies, where they decide that they're going to get together and do, like essentially recreate old things to somehow convince a person who is in mourning that everything's fine now.
That's not how it works.
Yeah. It starts out pretty normal of just exactly the way it was advertised, right? It's just a bunch of women who are...
They are adults.
Yeah, they're a bunch of women who are spelunking, and they're just like cave exploring, right? But there's one woman who's definitely like super hype about all of that, and she's the one who was having the affair. So she's definitely the person who's like, I'm going to repair everything.
Yeah, trying to like overcompensate. Yeah,
we're going to discover this cave and I'm going to name it after you. And that's going to totally fix the fact that I was stealing your husband and then he died.
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works, lady. Anyway.
You sure?
Much to their surprise, this woman essentially tricked them because they're not in the cave that they thought they were, right? So they told authorities, like, or warned people, like, hey, we're in this cave, so if something happens, come to this cave. But it's not the cave they were in. So it's like, if you're going to trick your friends, totally fine. But at least send your own warning message out.
Yeah, so that, like, somebody else can come and get you.
Yeah.
But she didn't want them to discover it.
No, yeah. I know, so dumb. And then I'm like, where's the map? She's like, there isn't one. I want us to survive. Like, find it. It's like, oh my God. But then they see, like, signs that other people had been there.
Yeah, but they just extra super died.
Yeah. The other people?
Yeah.
Well, they don't really know. At first, they just see, like, pieces of, like, clearly had been a cave expedition because there's, like, things in the ceiling and a path that's already kind of started. So they're like, oh, maybe someone did do it. But the idea is, like, this isn't named. So then they probably didn't make it out. Yeah. And it's like, why? Anyway.
Well, you find out, so.
Yeah, so apparently, not apparently, essentially what happens is that they encounter creatures that are essentially humanoid and have been transformed through evolution to adapt to underground. Yeah. So they're blind, but they have super hearing and have kind of like echolocation like bats. Yeah. And they're like very white because they have never seen the sun. And they can climb on walls really proficiently. Yeah. Well, these creatures they're called crawlers and are apparently inspired by Nosferatu. It was like the ripoff of Dracula. Yeah. In 1922. But the creatures, the crawlers, the women didn't know what those look like before like they were in the scene with them. So that first scene where they see them, that's like genuine fear because they're like, whoa. Like they knew there was like a monster of some sort, but they didn't know it was that. Yeah. And that popping up on them, they were just like, what?
That's crazy. Because I know, like, you're in a movie, but, like, still. It's like that alien scene where it popped.
Yeah, they didn't know that was going to happen. Oof. Yeah, Juno is the character who's been, like, kind of orchestrating all this. And she's, like, what's great about it is, like, we have, one, it's all women. Yeah. All but the husband, like the husband's the only male who has a speaking role, and only for a moment because he dies. So it's all women, and they're like pretty awesome. Like one, they're able to spelunk and climb and do, like they already show like feats of strength in their ability to like hold themselves up while they're trying to like mark the ceiling and like I don't know what the technical terms for things are because I don't climb things, but they like stick their like rod thingies in the ceiling and then they put the rope on them. You guys know what I'm talking about. But they do like all this cool stuff, and then when they are fighting the monsters, Juno is just like fighting back, and she tries to like get the girl even though she's gravely injured, and just like starts like just screaming and tearing them apart, and she's like so deranged and crazy that she accidentally stabs a friend.
Yeah, and then the friend like doesn't realize like how it happened. Yeah. What was kind of messed up is that she, like, does it, and then one doesn't explain herself at all.
Like, oh my God, I didn't know it was you. There's monsters.
And then, and then just leaves her there to, like, die very slowly, and she doesn't. The monsters just take her down to the thing.
Yeah, it's definitely, like, it's more about, like, them overcoming a lot of it. Like there's a whole, like right before we even get to the creatures, like because there isn't a death until 54 minutes into the film. Yeah. So it's yeah, and then they're just dropping like flies. They like die really quickly, which is like I remember us being like, whoa. Yeah, like they just killed everybody.
This went real quick.
They spend a lot of time kind of just surviving the conditions of the cave. Like there's a part where like the one gets like stuck, and that was scary. Yeah. Like her getting stuck, and like you can hear her panicking, and like that's when you're gonna lose your breath, and like hearing Juno talk to her.
Claustrophobia going through.
Yeah, being like, calm your breathing. You're using less oxygen, then we can figure it out. But then like when they got her out, they lost the rope bag.
Yeah, and then the one girl, her hands got all messed up because the rope cut it. And then the other girl thought she saw, like, an escape that was light, but it was really just, like, the rocks reflecting off of each other. And she falls into a giant hole and then breaks her leg real gross.
Yeah. And then she didn't stand a chance. But it was, like, with the hand thing, it was, like, a woman was holding the rope while the other one, like, taut so that the other one can secure, like, a travel for them. But then she like essentially lost control of it, so then the rope like was flinging through her hands like really quickly, and it just totally ripped through her hands.
Yeah.
It was gross. So there's lots of dangers in there that weren't just
the monsters.
The monsters. One thing I thought was kind of cool is that the filmmakers thought it was actually too dangerous to film in a cave.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
yeah,
a real cave would be dangerous.
Yeah. So it wasn't in Colombia. Sorry, Kat.
It's okay.
Actually, they just built it all.
That's insane.
Yeah, like when you're looking at it, absolutely.
It looks like a real cave, yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know how they did that. I think what is one of the most interesting things about it is that there's 2 endings.
Yeah, you told me that because the one we saw together was not the good ending. It was a stupid one.
Yeah, it's
and
the
then
US
you saw
ending.
The real one.
Yeah. So the US ending has our main character, Sarah, essentially fights her way and like deals with a lot of stuff, but she's in like fight or flight, and then she's in fight for sure. She makes it to this like pile of skulls, and there's this light upon her. So she crawls her way out and through this like tiny hole on the side of this mountain. She runs to the truck. She gets into the truck. She's driving crazy on the road. She's like making it. It's just her. She's getting so far. She's drenched in blood. And then she pulls over after being like hysterical, throws up out the window. And when she gets back in the car, she looks over and Juno's there, but Juno is dead.
Yeah.
Right? So she like is hallucinating. And then it just cuts to black for the US version.
Which is super dumb.
Which to some degrees makes it kind of scary too, in that like if she does survive, like she has to deal with this trauma, right? Like not only has she lost her husband and her first
Juno might
kid,
have lived if she didn't stab her.
Yeah, and that, like a lot of this happened, and she like what, like she has to go and explain like what happened to her friends, and no one is gonna believe her that there's creatures down there.
Yeah,
she's just gonna be like, oh, they all got murdered. By who? I'm the only one who lived. Like, what are you, you know? Yeah. Or even like worse is if maybe she did murder them all. Like that's one of the theories that the director kind of fancies, is that this idea that she just kind of had a psychological break, because like things go downward after she got trapped in that spot and then was like suffering from like claustrophobia. So if it triggered like any kind of response in her, she might have lashed out at them.
Yeah.
There's this really great part where the whole thing is like you're not supposed to move because they can hear you.
Yeah.
Or you're not like, you just don't make any sound. So there's like this part where she's like on this rock and the viewer doesn't know, but she sees or hears a creature, so she immediately stops moving and just lays her head on the rock, and then the creature comes up and like literally puts his hand on her head and is like perched on her looking around, and she's just not moving, and it's just like an absolutely phenomenal scene.
Yeah, it's very stressful, but also like, whoa.
Yeah, the way that it's so smooth. Like, it's so smooth, and so like, and that's when you're like, wow, she's like really, she's got a handle on this. Like she's ready to go.
She was made for this.
Yeah. And so the UK ending has essentially that same similar scene, except that when it gets to the part where she sees Juno, it triggers her to wake up. And she has been in the cave still.
Yeah, 'cause she hits her head before she starts to travel towards the light.
Yeah, so essentially she just never got out. She never crawled her way out. And so she's just laying there and she sees, essentially hallucinates the birthday candles for her daughter's cake again, and when you look, it's like her flashlight going out. And so it's like the end is like she's stuck in there forever, and you can hear them like making their little clicky sounds coming after her, which is what I saw. And so when I had Kat watch The Descent again, and it didn't, because I was waiting, I was literally like trying not to just like stare at you while that scene was gonna come, because it's like, oh my god, it's gonna come up, she's gonna be disappointed just like me and just like traumatized, it's gonna be great. And then it didn't happen, and I was so upset. I was like, that's messed up. I had to go through that. Everyone should have to go through that. We did another thing.
Yeah, long time coming.
Yeah.
Because I played this a bunch. So I've played 106 hours of this game.
That's absurd. I played maybe 12.
I played 106.
Maybe I played like 20.
The game is called The Forest. Made in 2018, which is not true because it was early access for a while, but it was finalized in 2018. The game takes place on a remote, heavily forested peninsula where the player character and his son Timmy are survivors of a plane crash, not plane trash.
Yeah.
So the director is Ben Falcone, programmers Guillermo Keren
And then the composer is me, Gabe Castro. It's not me, but it's another Gabe Castro, which I think
just
is
funny.
weird.
So the game begins with Eric LeBlanc sitting in an airplane with his son, Timmy LeBlanc. And we know because his name is Timmy that he is going to die.
Yeah, we've said that in Ghoul history.
Yeah. When the plane crashes on a remote, heavily forested peninsula, Eric and his son manage to survive the crash. But Eric watches helplessly as Timmy is kidnapped by a man in red war paint before falling unconscious. So, when you wake up, you're on the plane, and you're like, oh, wait, where's my son? Was that a dream or was that real life?
Yeah.
And he has to go out and find his son. So you get like the plane manifest.
Yeah, you get the manifest so you can see who was in there because all the other people are gone or dead.
Yeah.
And their suitcases are everywhere. And you find, I don't remember what our first weapon is.
It's the plane axe.
Okay, the plane axe, which is convenient. You get that, so you just start hacking at suitcases so you can get some cloth from people's clothing, or if they got peels here, you can get some medicine or food like granola bars, whatever they had in there.
Yeah, lots of cloth, lots of granola bars. You could get some watches, batteries, money, alcohol, little alcohol bottles, like the plain alcohol bottles.
Yeah, because this is like Lost, but there's no other survivors. It's not purgatory.
No, exactly. So you're like kind of walking around and you're confused, and then suddenly a
wild cannibal appears.
A wild cannibal appears. But he like kind of looks like he's a people.
Yeah.
So you're like looking at him and you're like, oh, wait, what you gonna do there, friend?
Yeah.
And he runs at you and you get all bloody.
And he's like
and
screeching.
He's eating you and he's making scary screeching noises. And you definitely don't want to be his friend because he doesn't want to be your friend unless
he wants you to be eaten.
Unless you paint yourself red, and now you're best friends, and he bows to you.
Yeah. So apparently the color red is like a thing for them. So if it's red, they like bow to you. It's really creepy. But it's like it's crazy. It's very surreal if you have no idea what's happening because you're just like on a plane, all of a sudden crashes. You wake up, your kid's taken by a scary guy. Then you're just walking around. You're like, man, I gotta like build myself like this tree house, like made of sticks.
Timmy has a forest survival guide. That's like a wilderness survival guide, and then like you get some of that stuff.
Anyway, yeah. So you learn
it's
stuff.
like it's a video game.
Yeah, but you explore and you find like evidence of the other not survivors. The other
you find all the dead,
victims.
murdered.
Yeah.
Plane crashes victims that are like hanging from things or literally mutilated and like have tennis balls coming out of their face.
And like you build things. Like a big part of the game is like you're just surviving, so you're learning how to build. You start with just like a bundle of sticks that you live in. Then you can build you can cut down trees so that you have like a whole house now, a cabin. You can build fires, you can build bonfires, you can build these weird effigies that are from like the body parts of the cannibals so that they stay away from you because they're like I guess it's like respect. They're like, mad respect, bro. You got like 10 heads on that.
You killed our friends. But what I will say is like 100 hours of my gameplay was just building bases, and then 6 hours of it maybe was beating the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very fun.
And I think that's why people continue to play. Like they enjoy that it is kind of like open world and that you're like just kind of making the best of it. You did have a really cool like base with like a whole fence and like treehouse. And
yeah, we had a whole fun time of friendship with you, me, and Will, and we had our whole fun friendship forest land time, and then the giant baby monster murdered it, and then we stopped playing.
Yeah. Well, so essentially what happens with the story is when you're done just trying to survive and you're like, I actually do have to go find my kid because he was taken. So I probably should figure out what's going on with that.
And the more days that you're out, the more intense and terrible the mutants get.
Yeah, they get. So, and what we mean by mutants is that you find, as you're exploring, you realize that like some of them have a lot of legs, like Silent Hill style, or a bunch of arms or body parts or giant babies or little babies that don't have legs, so they slither on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's really cool about this game is that, like, unlike some of its alternatives It actually does with story. So, like,
Yeah.
you have a lot of, like, survival games that the whole point is the surviving. And that's fun, but there's no, like...
Yeah, I want to know. I want to be
There's no
motivated.
reason.
Yeah.
There's no, like, deeper plot. You know, you're not...
Yeah.
You can, if you want, just hang out with cannibals and just, like, build some structures and stuff. Or... you could go try to figure out what's going on with Timmy.
Yeah, which means you end up having to go underground, which is why it is brought up in this section. So,
Yeah, you have to go deep in the caves, and I don't go down there because it scares me.
it's super dark. You have to like get diving gear because you'll at some points have to go underwater to get through.
Which is my actual biggest fear of all life. I
Yeah.
can't even do it in video games. I get so upset.
Yeah, and like there's monsters and they get even worse down there. But you do start to kind of piece things together until you get to the end, which is just crazy. And there's
Yeah.
2 endings. There's 2 different things that you can do based on the morality that you have, essentially. But you get to the bottom. It does come full circle, which I think is really interesting and kind of cool. Because again, that separates it from like a generic travel game or survival game.
Yeah, you actually have, like, a motivation. And also, it's just, like, you have all this thing where you gotta save your son.
Yeah.
You build a cabin on the beach for your son, man.
Yeah, but essentially you go in after you've traveled under there and you get like the appropriate gear that you need. You find a key code pass thingy that gets you into this door that leads to this like underground bunker base, and you're like crawling all around. You find like a cafeteria, but you keep finding like all these references to like a girl. It's Megan Cross. So it's like this young child. So you see drawings, you see a school picture of her, you find out that her dad runs some business where they're like experimenting using artifacts that are supposed to bring people from the dead, but they have to use like child sacrifice. They're like splicing up people and making these weird monster creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was weird is, like, it doesn't give you too much details. I think, like, there's probably a way to find out all the details if you're, like, really searching throughout, like, you've, like, written everything down and you're doing, like, research and stuff, which I'm sure somebody has.
Yeah.
But, like, there's also that, like, why are they cloning leg monsters?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, like, interesting. And what it also seemed to suggest is that people were, like, giving their kids to this experiment.
Yeah.
And maybe didn't know that their kids were being turned into leg monsters.
Well, yeah, it's like, so yeah, something was going on, and essentially the guy who ran the thing, Dr. Matthew Cross, his daughter Megan was killed by an armsy, which is like the one with a lot of arms on it. And so in order to, like, essentially he's driven mad because she was murdered, right? And so he resorts to using the artifact to resurrect Megan. And he has to kidnap Timmy to use him as the sacrifice, because it's like one body to use to put like the energy into the dead one.
Yeah.
Which is what you find out.
Yeah, it doesn't go real well. Like Pet Sematary. Sometimes dead is better.
Yeah. Essentially, and because Megan ends up being really mutated and gross, and she becomes this really...
She murders her dad with crayons.
gross. Yeah, she did murder her dad with crayons. When you, like, confront her, she just starts morphing into this creepy monster. It's really gross.
It's like, you're the plane guy. What? I got hands for my face. And then it's just like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah, and then
that's not what you want your
fight it.
kids to look like. And then you murder her.
Yeah. And
So
you find there's,
cool.
like, no real way to, like, save Timmy. Like, you can't sacrifice yourself or any of that. So then you end up, like, getting to the top of, like, where this base is. So you're above looking. And there's this computer screen that essentially prompts you to activate some device that will essentially take a plane down, just like yours.
Where you could get a new baby to murder to make your baby be alive. And then some other dad will go around and do the same thing.
Yeah, so it's a vicious cycle. Or you go out and you destroy that, and then you're just living on the island all by yourself
cannibals.
for forever.
Yep, get yourself a nice cannibal
Isolated
wife.
for forever. Yeah.
Make some nice cannibal babies.
Yep.
Pay yourself
all the
rent, they'll
arms.
never know.
She has like 5 vaginas.
Join the cannibals, be cannibals too.
Yeah. Or you take the plane down and it just jumps to, you have essentially stolen a kid and then revived Timmy, who's now twitchy and real creepy like, and he gets all like twitchy, and then later he's like, what's happened to me, because he's gonna all morphed and weird, and he's gonna probably spread his disease, and now the world's cannibals.
No, I think he goes back to the island, is my theory.
I think.
To figure out, like, what his dad did.
Yeah. So it's Force 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's, if you do the other one, it's still the Force 2. It's just the same guy's there now, and he has a cannibal wife and kids.
Yeah.
New Timmy.
New Timmy.
Feelings. Yeah, feelings. Yeah, feelings. Yeah, I said feelings. Let's talk about feelings. Okay. And all that spooky stuff. I love spooky stuff.
All right, so if you like it, it's our rock babies.
We love them.
We love them. We tuck them in at night.
Yeah.
They are our family. And then if you don't like it, it's New Timmy.
Because Timmy's gonna die.
Yeah, so you get New Timmy, who's a cannibal boy with many appendages.
Yeah.
Because that's nice. I mean,
He eats
it's
his friends.
It's kind of like an upgrade.
Oh, Timmy. Why'd you eat your friend?
Okay, so for the topic of isolation underground.
I love my rock babies.
Aw, you like isolation
I
underground?
love them. No, I just like the topic. I thought it was fun. I
Yeah.
like learning about it. I like to learn more about it. Not trying to go underground, though.
Yeah.
Trying to stay right up where I am.
I wish some of those places were not expensive and were near where I was. Because I like to just, like, walk in one. Like, go into, like, an already discovered cave. That's, I don't have to squeeze in. Like, if there's an area where it's, like, squeeze into this, I'd be like, mm-mm.
Or you gotta, like, climb real hard.
One, it's like, do you think this body is getting through a crevice?
Curves.
Yeah, these
Curves don't fit through
childbearing
crevices.
hips are not doing it. Also, yeah, just like nah. Like I don't even think I'm claustrophobic, but if I was like underground in rocks, I'd become claustrophobic. I would find
Yeah,
that.
I don't know if I'm claustrophobic, but I definitely don't like being enclosed. Like, I don't like feeling like I can't move. I get real stressed.
Ooh.
So I guess I am claustrophobic, and I just, like, didn't know, really.
I think it's just
Well, I
kind of.
thought
I
about
think that's
it.
a natural thing. But like that whole scene where she's in there and it's like you can't move your arm. Like no,
I would be
No,
equally
no.
panicking. I'd be like,
there. I don't know if you'd be able to get me down. I think if someone else, that's the thing. I have like the anxiety, but it's like if someone else is more afraid than I am, then I immediately get like beefed up as protector. So like if I was like
so
trapped,
we should not try to comfort you. Should be, oh my god, keep her in the hole. And then you'll be like, oh god,
Yeah.
no, I'm actually probably fine. It's
yeah,
fine.
exactly. That's
Right.
if you guys were freaking out, if you weren't like breathe, remember to breathe, I'd be like, screw you, I'm dying. But if you were like, oh my god, I can't breathe because you're in there, I'd one get mad because I'd be like, listen, first off, this is about me. I'm the one who's trapped in here, okay? So
I'm doing the
I'm the
thing
one
you
who
said
can't
to
breathe.
do.
Yeah, and then I'd be like, also stop panicking. I'm coming. I just gotta wiggle my way out of here. Get these hips through this space. I don't know how I got myself in this mess.
Crevices.
These curves and these crevices. What about The Descent? My rock babies rock.
I love it.
Yeah, I liked it the first time I watched it. I understand why it's a cult classic. It is really good. And like another thing about it is like you have these like awesome women who are fighting, but like there's never any like romance. It doesn't
Yeah.
get caught up in like the drama. Like there's no sex, so there's never like this woman's gonna die first. Like they're all the final girl. They're all, and it's like it's all irrelevant. Like the basic tropes for horror are just not there. This is just about like women surviving and like working their butt off to do that.
Yeah.
So
It gets a little
10
petty
stars.
at the end.
Yeah, but like reasonably so.
Yeah.
Like I feel like one, you're going crazy. You're going through a lot. Then you watch like a friend die, or you had to kill a friend because another friend tried to kill that friend and you didn't get all the deets.
Yeah.
And also you find out that that friend had been like having an affair with your husband who's now dead. So there's a lot of levels to that I can get with. I can understand the snap that results in that. All right, how about The Forest?
I love The Forest. I did
Oh yeah, all the
106
babies.
hours.
All the rock
I
babies.
have all the rock babies, even though they're really cannibal babies in this instance, but I still love them because they're
Yeah.
my rock children. Don't go outside.
Isolate yourself. So this is the start of a series that's going to be going. We're going to explore all the different places that you can be isolated and why it's probably not good for you to be in that place alone
Or like
what
with like
happens.
3 people.
Or like people you don't know or trust.
Yeah.
Or like you shouldn't
Even if
be
you do
in
know
that
them,
place.
that you're just stuck and
Some
it's bad.
places you just shouldn't be. Like you don't. Why do we need to be there? Just don't be there. Well, stay tuned for some really fun isolation things. We're gonna talk about wilderness.
Yeah.
Being inside.
Yeah.
Talk about space.
Yeah.
And underwater.
Uh,
So stay tuned. And remember, you can shoot us an email at theghouls@gmail.com. Let us know how we're doing. And if you have any thoughts or if you want to ask us to do something, we appreciate it. Shout out to Mateo for emailing us. That was cool, dude. Thanks. So we really
told a bunch of
appreciate
people you did it. It was cool.
Yeah, I really appreciated it.
What?
It was super cool. But definitely drop us a like and a share and a comment on iTunes because apparently that's where it matters. Oh, don't get married. They'll eat your rock babies.
Yeah, it's sad.
All right, bye.
Bye.